What's up? It's Marco again on the Stage of Soccer channel. Today I'm going to talk about the U.S. men's national team's 6-0 win against El Salvador. And man, it was a great game. So, just where to start? We got a couple of some really nice performances. A couple of really good guys, all an MLS team. Chris Mueller was somebody who really impressed today. He came in with a lot of expectations after a really nice year with Orlando, and he came through. A couple of assists, a couple really scrappy goals. Great performance by him. He was definitely the best attacking player on the field today. Great job by him. He's definitely earned himself another few call-ups. McKenzie was another player who I was really impressed with. While the defense didn't have too much to do today, I thought they was really good playing the ball at the back. Like, you could see that the left-hand side was definitely the more dangerous offensively. I think that's a lot because of him. He was building the ball up great. He's a right-footed player. Even on his left foot, he was able to play some really nice balls. He had one into Aaronson. It was a really decent pass. He had a really good performance. I'm very excited about him. He's probably the best on the field today. He might have leapt into a starting spot. I have to see him against Miazga and Chris Richards, but a great performance by him. Sebastian Leglette was another guy who I was really impressed with. I think he kind of is the expectation as a MLS player in his prime, but it still, regardless, he did have a decent game today. Really good going forward. Had a really nice goal. I'm not sure if it's a deflection or not, but that chip was really nice. And, really decent game. Build-up play was very good. Another really nice performance by him. He's probably going to be sticking around the national team for a while as one of the veterans in the group. Him and Tim Ream, if I had to guess, are probably going to be the veterans moving forward. Brendon Aaronson was another guy who was really good. He's probably the guy with the biggest expectations for this game. He came through. He was looking really good on the ball. He didn't get to show his dribbling off as much today, but he was still getting in some really good positions. He had a couple of really decent passes. That combination with Chris Mueller. I thought he was doing really well on his goal. One of the better players for the national team to get today. Araujo was another really good player, Julian Araujo. He had a good cross for one of the goals. I thought he was worse in the second half. I mentioned build-up play before. The right-hand side wasn't as good. I don't think it was completely on him, but he didn't do himself any favors, I don't think. But probably the best fullback we had today. Offensively, he was looking really good. Was getting into some good positions, but overall, he could have been a lot better. But I think we saw enough out of him to be positive. And lastly, Bill Hamid. He had a really decent performance. I was going to talk about this in a preview that I ended up scrapping because I didn't feel good about it. But he has a chance to establish himself in the national team again. I mean, Zach Steffen played for Man City in the Champions League today, so I don't think his spot's really in jeopardy. But, I mean, in theory, Zach Steffen isn't playing any senior games. And if he doesn't and Bill Hamid keeps up his form, he could really find himself back into the starting spot. Because you really don't want to start a goalkeeper who doesn't play going into a major tournament. Now, do I think he's better than Steffen? No. Steffen probably should start, but I'm feeling good about Bill Hamid. He made a couple of good saves when he's called upon, and he was looking really clean with the ball at his feet. I don't think he made a single mistake. His passing was great, really calm as well. Great performance by Bill Hamid. Sam Vines and Aaron Long, they didn't do anything to really impress me, but didn't do anything bad either. I think that the guys who probably disappointed were Akinola. He didn't really do anything to put himself in the conversation. He did get the 5th goal, but I don't think he really did enough to really establish himself. I should say that I think he did better in the second half, and possibly he was planned to play out on right to begin with. I know that Daryl DK went down with an injury, so maybe he's kind of forced into that striker spot without as much preparation as he would have liked, but I wasn't too impressed by him. And Jackson Yueill was a guy who I was pretty disappointed with. Really kind of weak on the ball. I don't think he was building up as well as he could have. He had a couple of decent passes, but just for the type of opposition we were going up against, really not too impressed by him. So, that's how I thought about all the players in the starting lineup. And while this was an extremely easy game against an El Salvador team, and an El Salvador team that hasn't been playing in a very long time, so a very rusty team as well as a team that doesn't have much quality to begin with. So you can't take too much from it, but there were some real positives. I mean, I mentioned McKenzie being great on the ball. That's definitely a huge positive, and it looked like he could really play a left center back position. So that's a huge positive take from this. Brendon Aaronson, he was doing really well with his movement. As I mentioned, he wasn't the best he ever played, but his movement was great today, and you could see a lot of positives. And Chris Mueller is just a great performance by him, probably the man of the match for today. So those are just three real positives that you can take despite the opposition. Great jobs by them. In terms of the subs who played, Michael Farfan, he came on. I honestly didn't notice when he came on. I stepped away for halftime. I missed the sub, and I didn't notice he came on at all until after Soto had come on. So don't know if that says more about me or him. Sebastian Soto, he couldn't get too much going. We took our foot off the gas after the 6th goal, so you can't really judge him too much. Acosta, I was pretty disappointed with. I think that he had a pretty poor game. And it's kind of disappointing for him because, back in 2016, I guess, he was one of the guys who I was really excited about for the future. But you had McKenzie, you have Adams now, all in his position, and he just kind of fell off, and he didn't really do enough to get himself back into contention. A little bit disappointing, but hey, it says something kind of good that if this was a guy I was pretty excited about who's now entering his prime and he can't even get a look into the team, that just shows how much better the USA team has gotten. I think Kyle Duncan was probably the best substitute, I thought. He didn't do too much, but I thought that the build-up play got a lot better when he came on for Arriola, and pretty decent performance. I really like his athleticism. And Walker Zimmerman, I really expected him to start. He didn't get enough time to really do anything right or wrong, but I have been liking what I saw from him. But again, interesting that he didn't start. So in terms of tactically, I thought it was a good performance. I mean, obviously we won 6-0. Not much you can take away from that. That was poor. One thing I did notice that our press wasn't as great as it used to be, and this is what kind of interesting because I know that Brendon Aaronson's a really great presser on the Union. Akinola, Arriola was working really hard, but the press wasn't as good as you would expect it. I don't know, this is something you would take away from the game that I noticed. Last thing I want to talk about with Greg Berhalter, and this was something I was thinking about. Let me know if you agree with it or not, but I was comparing him. I was thinking about a comparison to him, and I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is a good comparison. Because when I look at Greg Berhalter, I see a guy who I really don't like tactically. I think that he makes a couple of pretty poor decisions. I'm not too confident in him, but I feel like the players really like him. Like, how many dual internationals have we gotten that, judging by their conversations, it was really down to him? Like Yunus Musa, Sebastian Soto. Those are two really good players that we were able to secure, and Berhalter's probably the guy who was able to do that. So you can look at him as a really good players coach, but tactically it's not really there. And I mean, when you look at Solskjaer at Man United, I feel like it's the same thing. Like, he's tactically not that good, but those players play their butts off for him. Like, you saw Paul Pogba, who's a guy who's been criticized for effort before. He was doing a bicycle kick clearance in one of the games, and they pull off all those comebacks because I feel like they want to play for him. They don't want him replaced because they know his job's on the line. I don't know, that's something I feel like is a good comparison with Berhalter. That's about all I have to talk about for the game in terms of analysis. Really good performance by the USA team. 6-0 win's always awesome. And yeah, good to see the MLS players get out there. That's about all I have for this. I'll see you.